Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Rue, and today we are going to talk about 5 steps that you can take to start your acting career. Please note that I am not saying these are the 5 steps because there are probably a million different ways you can start an acting career. It's so dynamic, it's so fun, it's crazy in a good way, sometimes in a bad way, but we'll get into all that. But these are just some steps that you can take to make the process just a little bit smoother because there's some side roads that you don't want to take. Let's just say it that way. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Rue, and on this channel, I basically talk about the industry. I talk about the ins and outs, what to do, what not to do, all that kind of good stuff. If that's something that you're interested in, please consider liking this video, subscribing to this channel. Let's get into it. Okay, so you decided you want to be an actor. Maybe your friends and family, they said, you mean like as a hobby, right? I know a lot of us go through that, and it's fun, yeah. It's fun because it's not a real job, it's not a real career, right? Yeah. We'll see. Only some people make it. It's like, okay, yeah, that might be true. But there are some things you can do to give yourself a much better start. I didn't have the perfect start. I started a little bit later, but I just one day decided, you know what? I've always wanted to do this. I never even knew I wanted to do it. I grew up in South Africa, never took drama in high school or anything like that. I did a couple of plays, but everybody has to do a play in high school. I mean, it's just kind of what you have to do because you're in high school and you have to do what you're told. It wasn't something that was on my mind. Right after high school, my mom and I, we moved to America and went to college, got a business degree, and just kind of like bounced around and all that kind of stuff. And then one day I just decided, I want to be an actor. What? And everybody was kind of like, what do you mean you want to be an actor? You're a complete introvert. Which is true. I was like the shy kid. Like I didn't talk to anybody. If a girl talked to me, I would be like literally, that was me. Okay, I was always in the friend zone. Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk about high school anymore, okay? Point is that it's never too late to start, and it is a real job. And it is okay for you to want to be an actor because it's fun. And if that is your passion, you should absolutely go for it. Just be smart about it. And that is what I am going to attempt to help you with, to take a little bit of a better approach. Now, like I said, there are many, many different ways you can start, but here are just a few of the guidelines that I learned throughout my journey. I guess you could say. All right. Step number 1. Now, these aren't necessarily in order, but they probably should be kind of sort of in this order, but yeah, they're kind of in order. Yeah. You have to figure out why you want to be an actor. Okay, now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail in this in another video, so you can check for it. It may not exist yet, but if you see something pop up above you or above me, that means I've made it. All right, so go check it out. But you have to understand that if you want to be an actor because you want to live a famous lifestyle, because you want to drive nice cars, you want to live in Bel Air, that's probably not enough. And it's also the wrong reason, because your reason has nothing to do with the profession itself. This goes for any profession in life. If your reason for doing something doesn't have anything to do with the profession itself, then you're probably going to fail at it, or you're just not going to have enough oomph in your tank, your emotional and your physical tank to actually go through the trenches to become successful. And this industry in particular is a tough one. I'm not gonna lie, it's a tough one. So get used to it and expect it, because you're gonna get your feelings hurt and you're gonna cry and you're gonna laugh. But it's fun and it's worth it. But you have to figure out why you wanna do it, okay? It's not enough because, oh, I wanna be famous. It's like, well, try to make a viral YouTube video and become famous, if that is all you want. But the acting industry is a profession. It is for professionals, and it is for people that want to be dedicated to a specific craft. And it takes training. It takes a lot of different things to become successful as an actor. Very few people just kind of fall into it. It's a process, and it takes work, okay? So you have to figure out, why is it that you want to be an actor? I'm using my hands a lot today. It's weird. It's like I need to yeah, okay, cool. That just got weird. So step number 2, this one's a little bit different. Get to know your city. What city do you live in? Do you live in LA? Great. Do you live in Atlanta? Great. It's a huge film community in Atlanta. Actually, one of the biggest in the world right now. Do you live in New York? Great. Do you live in Nashville? There's some stuff going on in Nashville, Florida. There are things going on everywhere. So get to know your city and find out what is going on, what is filming in your city, and how do you proceed. If you live in a town that literally has zero going on, you might want to consider moving. And that kind of goes back to step number 1. If you don't have a strong enough why to become an actor, you're probably not going to move everything that you have for that dream, correct? So that's why step number 1 is so important, because it kind of dictates everything else that you're going to do, or going to be willing to do. Let's put it that way. So get to know your city. Some cities are better than others. That's just a fact. That's just how it is, okay? So yeah, this is how it is. Step number 3, get to know your community. So you figured out why you want to become an actor, and then you figured out where you should be since you want to become an actor. And if you are already in a place, that's great. And if you have to move, then you move. So now that you're at step number 3, you have to actually get to know the community itself. When I say community, I don't mean the tennis club or the whatever. I mean the acting community. Find the colleges that do student films, that have film curriculums, because they're full of students and they're always needing to do projects. And that is where you can start networking with people. You can start getting in front of the camera. You can start doing certain things. But before you do that, well, kind of at the same time that you do that, you're going to want to get into a class, okay? Now, again, if you're not in a city that have acting classes, then you might want to move, which go back to number 1. So you see how all of these are kind of connected? You kind of have to do all of them at the same time, okay? It's not really like a step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you kind of have to just commit. Okay, and that is going to be the biggest part of your acting career, is committing to everything that you're doing. And there's a lot. There goes my hands again. That's weird. I'm just going to lock them up. Like, it's going to sit on my hands. Yeah, cool. You have to get to know your community, and you have to figure out who is making films, where can you go, where can you get in front of the camera, because it's kind of like jumping into the deep end. Okay, you have to just start. But like I said before that, you have to get into a class. So that was step number 4, is to train, but I'm just gonna put it like 3B. Like the first one, get to know your community, is 3A, and then 3B is to train, because they kind of go together, okay? You have to, jumping in the deep end with getting to know students and getting to know indie filmmakers and that sort of thing, getting in front of the camera, and training all at the same time, because once you get into a class, you're gonna start to learn the industry. You're gonna start to learn, you know, what is a headshot, which I will make a video about shortly, and I will link it. You know, how does the industry work? What is an indie film? If you don't, I mean, maybe you're completely green in this and you have no idea where to start. Get into a class. They're going to hold your hand. Get into a beginner class. Get you to start flexing that muscle a bit. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you've never been in front of the camera, but you've always had this dream, and you've been an introvert like me all your life, and you're like, how can this possibly be for me? How can I have this dream inside of me of becoming an actor, but I am scared to talk to people, or I am shy, or whatever? It's okay, get in a class. It will work itself out, I promise. Get in a good class, obviously. Side note, when it comes to classes, I'm gonna make a video about training, but when it comes to classes, it can't be a one-stop shop, okay? Stay away from scams, stay away from these places that's like, they're acting classes, they're modeling agency, they're an agency, they're casting directors, it's a one-stop shop, and then they go, oh, that'll be $2,000 to get started. Run as fast as you can, because that's not how it works, okay? Get in a class and you will know what to do and what not to do. These are just some general guidelines for you to get started. Step number 5, which, you know, we kind of skipped over number 4 because 4 was 3.2 or 3B. But step number 5 is you have to be willing to put in the work. Like I said in number 1, you have to have a really strong why, because it's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have to do student film. They're not going to pay you. It's not going to give you any money, okay? It's going to give you some footage, maybe. There's a lot of work, okay? It's long hours, hours that you choose to do, and hours that you have zero control over, because you're a puppet. You're an actor. You are there to convey a character. You know, when I say put in the work, I don't just mean oh, you have to be on set. I mean, you have to study, you have to read books, you have to train, you have to do scene works, you have to practice monologues, you have to do things outside of the bare minimum if you want to be successful. And that is why you need a strong why to do this, because it's hard. It's hard sometimes. It's hard work. Well, it's always hard work. Well, I was on set one time, and it was fun because I showed up, and my scene was miraculously, my scene was the next one up. I showed up, I went into wardrobe, I filmed, and within 2 hours I was gone, and I was like, what? This never happens, okay? So don't expect that, because you'll probably be there for 200 hours in one day, because that's how it works. That's how it feels sometimes. But it's fun because you love it and you enjoy what you're doing, because this is what you chose, okay? And this is what you're making sacrifices for, and it is worth it. It is worth it. So if you're thinking about getting into acting, yes, there is work involved. Yes, you have to train. Yes, you have to research your community. Yes, you have to research your city. You might have to move, yes. And yes, you have to figure out why you want to do it. But once you do all that stuff, you know what, the rest is history, and it is awesome. Here's an extra like little bonus step, okay? You have to put on a thick skin. Start working on your skin and your emotional stability. Start working on that now. Start working on how strong emotionally you can be. You know, like when you're in sales, I was in sales at one point, and they always say, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting the product that you're selling. Well, when you're an actor, you are the product you're selling. So when you get rejected, it does feel like they are rejecting you. And I'm not gonna lie, it does feel that way. So start developing a really thick skin, okay? Because that thick skin is going to be directly correlated to that why. Why do you want to do this? That's just a little extra bonus tip, because that's something you're gonna have to, it's gonna make or break you anyway, so I might as well tell you that from the start. All right, guys, so thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the like button. It's somewhere over here, depending on what kind of device you're on. It means a lot to me. And talk to me in the comments. Like, tell me some stuff. Tell me some stories. Tell me your story. Tell me how you got started in the industry, and maybe some tips that people can go in the comments and read. So yeah, let's make this happen together, man. Let's do something. Create some magic. How's that? So again, my name is Rue. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.